Hey guys, I'm going to help you answer the age-old question of does putting higher octane fuel in your tank actually give you more horsepower? So I'm going to just jump right into it, but don't get alarmed with these two tables in front of you. This is HB tuners, and the tune I'm actually looking at is from a Chevy Tahoe, and this is direct from the factory. These have not been modified, and these two tables represent what the engine is going to be running at with different levels of octane fuel. In this case, either low octane or high octane. So, to help answer this question, does giving you more octane actually give you more horsepower? But let's first answer the question, what is octane in fuel? So, if you look at like 87, 89, 91, 93, those levels, those numbers actually represent the fuel and the resistance that fuel has to pre-detonation. So that pre-detonation is um, the resistance to not detonating before the engine has sent a spark to the spark plug to detonate the fuel. So what happens is people will say you get ping or knock. That's pre-detonation. That's usually a sign of the fuel is not a high enough octane rating per what the engine needs per its performance level. So if you have a truck, a normal car that's not a high performing car, well in my case it's just an SUV. But there are two different tables that represent a low octane and a high octane. So for the longest time, I had been putting in 87 octane. Okay, so what happens is when you're full throttle and you're running, let's say if you look at this table on the left, which is low octane, and you're running at RPM values are displayed up top here, full throttle. Let's say this highlighted line is what you're going to be running at. These numbers represent spark advance. That is, the higher the number, the more advanced the timing is, the more power actually, theoretically, you're going to get out of that detonation cycle. So the more advanced timing, if you compare it to the one on the right, the numbers are much higher. So to answer that question, in theory, yes, you will, in this case, get better performance, potentially, theoretically, higher horsepower out of a stock vehicle just putting in a higher octane gasoline because the engine is seeing that and it's noticing, okay, it's not getting detonation. We're not going to pull the timing out and run it on this table on the left. We're going to let you have more. We're going to give you more performance. Now, there are diminishing returns in this where, let's say, you can go to a gas station and buy like something crazy, like 110 octane fuel. That's not going to gain you any more performance than just putting in 91. In my case, if I put it into a truck, it's not going to gain me any more because the the computer running the engine is not tuned for that. So those cases where you have a specifically tuned vehicle that is designed to run that fuel, then yes. But if you just bought it off the dealer lot today and you're going to go put some gas in it, don't put 110 octane in it because if it's just a truck, it's not going to do you any good. You're just wasting money. But realistically, 91 is going to give you more performance than the 87 if you compare these two tables. Now again, don't let this be confusing to you. This is just the tune file, the parameters that the engine is looking for when it's running in normal conditions. And again, there's a low octane tune and a high octane. Well, actually, it's a table. It's a spark table, advance. And the engine, the computer is deciding, okay, we're going to run you in high octane until we see some problems. And if it starts seeing some knock, which is the pre-detonation, it's going to pull you back and it's going to run you in low octane. So if you actually want to go out and try this, you'll notice when you're full throttle getting onto the highway, you get to a certain RPM, you can feel the engine and the vehicle start to kind of lose performance. It starts to lay over a little bit. But if you put in some higher octane fuel, I bet you that's going to go away. All right, I hope this answers your question. It's does putting in higher octane fuel actually give you more horsepower? Again, short answer is technically, if you look at it like this, yes, but there are limitations.